Hey, what's up, everyone? Nice to have you along. What number are we on today? It's 130. Whoa, how did that happen? 130. Do you reckon we can break the 150 mark at some point? Hopefully, if the beautiful people at the Virtual Village Hall keep inviting me back, then we're going to go over that pretty soon. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. You will see my background is a little bit different today. If you've done a lot of my classes, you may recognize it. About 13 months ago, I was here, and I usually teach in Leicester, either from my flat or the Space to Breathe Collective, which is this amazing not-for-profit cooperative, which I'm part of, and I usually teach there. But this, everyone, is the wonderful Northumberland, and I'm in Northumberland for a few days with my wife, who's convalescing after quite a big operation. Yeah, she was to do some work up here, but instead we are doing a little bit of R&R. So I literally got here 15 minutes ago, and I'm like, I know the drill in that place. I've already done a class there, and my wireless connected automatically, and here I am. So feel free to drop us a message, and this is a really good part of the class, actually, where if you wanted to suggest anything you want me to guide you through, then feel free to do that. That's a really good thing. We've got a comment section, yeah, we can kind of meld some of that stuff in. I guess the most important thing is at the Virtual Village Hall this week, it's Mindspace Week, right? And we've got today and then tomorrow, and then it's the end of the week. And there's been some amazing content and some really, really good classes that have been going on that covers the whole spectrum of mindfulness, right? And I think that's the really nice thing about being creative and learning new skills and doing something that probably scares you. That's where ultimately you're going to get growth, right? I think it was World Mental Health Day on, was it Monday? I'm pretty sure it was Monday. And I like those days that kind of bring that awareness in. Even though every day, right, we're trying to make it a mental health day. And yoga is a really incredible practice for that, because what yoga does, it goes much beyond the physical. And what it does, it kind of brings the mental, the spiritual, if you want to call it that. And I always think about spiritual as wellness, energetic, and kind of like bodily together. So we're kind of matching everything up. And I kind of think that most people in the Western world, and if you've listened to 129 other classes, you will have heard me talk about this. In the Western world, we think about yoga as primarily being a physical practice, right? And we move through a series of postures. And if you're aware of yoga, and if you've done yoga in the past, that's probably where you've gone, or where you've been, and whatever class it was, there'll be like this thread of physical postures. And it's a really important part of yoga, right? That's what kind of draws people in. A lot of people will say to me, oh, I don't think I'm flexible enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm too old, or on this or on that. And there's a lot that keeps people away from practicing yoga. But yoga covers everything, right? So there's that question of what is yoga? And I guess the other way to flip it is to go, what isn't yoga, right? Because everything's yoga, or everything, right? And the postures, in some way, they kind of suggest to us a way forward. And that could be, yeah, purely physical. I want to get stronger. I want to get more flexible. I want to move a little bit freer, right? But what it really does suggest in this subtle way is every time we get onto our mat, it brings us back, right? It brings us back to ourselves. And whatever the circumstances of our lives are, whether we're flying high and everything's going really, smoothly, or whether we're in that area where there's a little bit more challenge going on, right? Then yoga's always there for you. And even if it's this of just sitting on your mat, bringing your hands on your knees and, just paying attention to your breath, I say, even if it's just this, that's where it all starts. And the physical benefits of it, getting stronger and more flexible and moving a little bit freer, that's the cherry on the cake, right? That's just a byproduct of this awareness that you're bringing in every time. So we kind of get yoga a little bit, we jump forward too much sometimes, where we're like, oh, I'm not doing that because I've seen it, Dave. I've seen it on Instagram. And there was a man, and he had his top off, and he had lovely tattoos, and he was walking on his hands across the floor. That kind of thing. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with taking your top off and showing your lovely tattoos and your six pack and walking on your hands across the floor. But most of us can't do that, right? So the stuff we see on social media is the stuff which is kind of beyond what most of us either want to do or can do, right? So you're like, I'm not doing yoga because it's that, or it's, you know, a woman in fantastic clothes with flowing hair. And there's nothing wrong with women in fantastic clothes and flowing hair. Fantastic, all of that stuff. But they'll be in this incredibly, you know, strong, flexible posture. And again, I'm sitting there going, that was painful. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. So it kind of puts us off, right? And then we go, I'm not doing yoga, and I know what that's about. But we probably don't know what it's about until we get to sit like this. And then all of our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with our individual yoga practice is exactly that. It's completely individual. And when we're thinking about something like Mind Space Week, or we're thinking about World Mental Health Day, this is usually the cause of all of our problems, right? The way that we overthink, and the way that, you know, we bring tension into our body, and maybe the traumas that we carry from our past, they're all kind of melded into the body and the mind, right? And what yoga does is it allows us to pay attention and release some of that. So there's a whole series of something called Yoga Sutras by a guy called Patanjali, and he was thousands of years ago. And you probably wouldn't appreciate me saying some guy called Patanjali. And it was the Yoga Sutras. And the second Yoga Sutra is Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which means yoga is the calming of the fluctuations of the mind. Yoga is the calming of fluctuations of the mind. There's a Sanskrit saying, which is the Chitta Vritti. Chitta Vritti just means the whirlpooling of the mind. So we're trying to get onto our mat to calm this, right? So how do we do that? Well, we do move, and we do pay attention, and we move the breath, but you do it in a way that feels good for you. So that's probably enough chat, right? There's 8 minutes. But in terms of our mental health, oh my word, yoga is it, right? It's amazing. It's so incredible. And that doesn't mean that every time you're going to sit and get on your mat, you're going to feel amazing and incredible. But you know that it's there for you. And it's a relatively simple practice in terms of getting onto the floor, or getting onto your mat, or sitting in a chair, or propping yourself up against a wall. I firmly believe that wherever you are mentally, physically, age, you know, however your body moves or how your body doesn't move, there's always something that you can do. Always something that you can do. And I love that. And what I find is that, you know, the simpler forms of yoga are the ones that I keep coming back to. All right. So, all right, there we go. I'm going to go back onto my mat. So excuse me while I just do that. And we're going to practice a little bit of pranayama. So pranayama is breath work. And we're going to have a little bit of look at, obviously, some physical postures. So if you want to do this first part on a chair, or if you want to prop yourself up, then feel free. I'm going to probably sit on a cushion. I say I've just arrived here, and there's a beautiful amount of stuff to sit on. This is an Airbnb. It's an ecologically converted farmhouse. It's nice, isn't it? So you can see what I've just done. I've just got a cushion, and I've got a blanket, and I'm sitting on that because I don't want to sit directly on the floor, because I don't like sitting directly on the floor sometimes. I like to bring a little bit of length into my spine. And then I'm finding somewhere really comfortable for my hands. And then I'm thinking about a nice tall spine here. And my head just balances on top of my spine. So you know, you see this, and it's a classic yoga position. Now, if I wanted to make it a little bit more relaxed, I can be here. In fact, I'm going to stay here. So don't worry if your knees are around your ears a little bit. And as I say, if you want to do this first part in a chair or up against a wall, and sometimes sitting up against a wall, the kind of the firmness of the wall and the temperature of the wall, it feels a little bit cooler. That can really bring some awareness into your breath. So with that tall spine and the shoulder blades relaxed down your your back, then maybe just draw your eyes closed. Or if that doesn't feel safe or it feels a bit odd closing your eyes, then I just invite you to soften your gaze. And then just draw your attention inwards. You don't have to be like super focused. You're like, I draw my attention inwards. What does it mean? Well, just pay a little bit of attention, first of all, to your physical body. So whether you're sat like me or up in a chair or against a wall, maybe scan from the crown of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Nice. Do that a couple more times. You can do it with the breath, or you can really take your time just scanning your body. And then as you do that, now just begin to pay a little bit of attention on your breath. Now, I'm not giving you any sort of like guidance or instructions on your breath. So kind of be curious how your breath feels. And for me, what I'm doing is I'm breathing in through my nose. And I'm breathing out through my nose. And at the start here, maybe keep that really simple. So the inhale and the exhale is around the same length. And if the nose isn't available, then obviously breathe through your mouth. But the nose is a really beautiful way to breathe. And a lot of us, find that a little bit interesting, I would say, a little bit challenging, especially if we're mouth breathers. But breathing through the nose, so much more nourishment and goodness can come. But be gentle and never force it, never strain. And then just take a couple more rounds of breath. And then on this one, I invite you to join me. So inhale through your nose. And then just exhale through your mouth. Do that one more time. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Beautiful, really nice. And then from here, just draw your eyes open if they were closed, or bring your eyes and your gaze up. Beautiful, really nice. And again, if you're sat in a chair or on a settee or anywhere, you can stay exactly where you are. Maybe you want to have a little wriggle around. If you're with me, then you can stay on something. If you're sat on something, then just drop your knees to either side. If you're sat and you want to bring some little movements in, then feel free to do that. We're going to stay seated for a little bit of time today, probably for a lot of the class actually. So let's see where we go. Let's see how we get on. But for now, we're going to stay, in a seated position. And if you sat on the floor and you think, you know what, if we're going to be here for a little bit of time, I want to sit down, then find somewhere else to sit. It's not important, this stuff, right? Most important thing is you're giving yourself loads of room to breathe into and your spine is long. We're going to do a breath called 1-2 breath. Right? Sounds good, right? Right? I'm saying right a lot, aren't I? So it's 1-2 breath. So what we're going to do is going to breathe in for a count of around 2, and we're going to exhale for a count of around 4. So we're going to double the amount of exhale. When we do that, what we do is we bring the kind of the nervous energy out of the body. So kind of our heart rate will automatically just really slow down. The pupils will dilate. We'll send all of the right messages to the body when we're breathing well. If we're thinking about it physiologically and we go a little bit deeper, it's about parasympathetic nervous system. So if we think about that part as resting and digesting, it's the left side of the body, the left side of the brain. And this is kind of where we want to tap into a little bit more, especially when we're practicing yoga, especially if you feel stressed a lot of the time. So it's really simple. I'm going to invite you to use a mudra, and a mudra is just a hand position. So your fingers are stretched out, and then see if you can bring your thumb and your forefinger together. Nice. And then sitting nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes. And then maybe follow me on these first few rounds. And then if it doesn't quite work for you, the pattern of breath, then I invite you to use your own. But inhale for a count of 2. Exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. So about twice the amount. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 4. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling for 4. Inhale 2. Exhale 4. 2 more together. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 4. Inhale 2. Exhale 4. And then in your own rhythm, I'll be quiet for about a minute. Inhaling for 2, exhaling for 4. Staying super relaxed through the jaw, through the shoulders. And then in your own time, just complete 2 more complete rounds. Try not to rush them, make them really nourishing. And then when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, just come with your eyes open, bring your breath back to a nice steady rhythm, and then maybe give your fingers a little wriggle. Feel free to kind of move in any way that feels good. You can shrug your shoulders up and down. And then I'll invite you again, if you're sat like I am, then bring some movements into your body. Maybe just drop your knees either side, whatever feels good for you. And then come back to stillness, see if you can remember which shin was in front, and then swap the shins out. If you're sat, you can remain sat on a chair, that is, or against a wall. And just tap in with how you feel. So, that's just a practice, right? So it's a pranayama practice, a breath practice. And we call our yoga practice in general, we say we're going to go and practice yoga. So we're not saying I'm going to go and be an expert at yoga, or I'm going to be good at yoga, or I'm going to be bad at yoga. Yoga just is, right? It's the vessel that holds us. So don't worry about being good or bad at it, because it's not really important, right? In fact, it's not important at all. And the pranayama practice, the breath practice we just did, again, that's just a practice. So I'm not asking you or expecting you to, if you're new to this kind of breathing techniques, to drop into it and go, oh, I'm just going to chill out. Because I'm not like that most of the time. I'm not just going to breathe and go, oh, I'm all zen and bliss. Because it's not realistic. But if we keep practicing it, and we know that we can tap into these really simple breath patterns when we need them most, to get out of the head and physiologically get into the body, then they serve us so well. And you know what? You don't need a lot for it, right? You just get comfortable and you breathe, and you can do 2 minutes, you can do 10, you can do 20, it doesn't matter. All right, let's do a little bit of physical movement. So we did this last week. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up into the air, really stretch up, relax your shoulder blades down your back as the arms lengthen. Then bring your hands together, exhale, and then just bring your hands down to heart center. To do that again, inhale up, Stretch up, feel the muscles of your back engage. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. 3 more like that. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. Match your movement with breath. This time, inhale up. And then just do a little twist to your right. You can keep the arms lifted. You don't have to twist too far. Maybe have a little wriggle. Feel that deep stretch probably in the left-hand side of your spine. And then soften your left hand down onto your right knee. Bring your right hand behind. If you're sat in a chair or on a settee, this is perfectly reasonable to do it here. So inhale to find length and then exhale into your twist. So you're sat in a chair, or if you're on a settee or against a wall, you might move away against the wall a little bit. But in a chair, you might just press that right hand, the fingertips or the palm into the cushion behind. Every inhale, find some length, and every exhale into your twist. Inhale to find length. Exhale to twist. Don't do it too far. One more like that. Nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale, come all the way back to center, and then sweep the arms back up. Little quarter turn to the left. Have a little wriggle if that feels good. Right hand down onto the left knee. Left hand down onto the floor or the cushion behind you. Inhale to find length. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. 2 more like that. Inhale to find length. Exhale to twist. And then one more. Nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale, come all the way back. Beautiful. And then sweep the arms all the way back up. This time, clasp the hands together, push the palms away, and then round into your spine. Nice. Inhale up, lengthen, arms up to the sky, up to your ceiling. Exhale, around your spine. 2 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale round. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, push the palms forward, round the spine. Final time to come up. Inhale. And then exhale, just comb the arms down, really slow. Down they come. Press your fingertips down into the earth, or if you're on your settee or chair, into the arms or the cushions, and lengthen your spine. Nice. And then again, I invite you just to bring your palms so they face up. Thumb and the forefinger touch. Maybe close your eyes and just check back in with the sensations in your body. Check back in with your mind. See how you feel. I'm just going to have a little look at the comments. Just check that I'm not missing anything. Just Jackie saying hello. Not just Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. You're never just Jackie. It's always nice to have you along. I meant just as in just the one comment. All right. So with the thumb and forefinger together, just release the thumb and the forefinger, and then we're just going to move through the neck. So we carry loads of tension in the neck, the jaw, kind of around the torso. So now some really nice, simple movements. So when you're ready, with the head at center, as you exhale, just drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Take an inhale. As you exhale, just bring the chin down, arc it across the collarbone, and then bring the left ear over the left shoulder. Deep inhale. As you exhale, bring the head all the way back to the right. Deep inhale. Exhale, you got it. Swing the chin slowly so the left ear is over the left shoulder. Deep inhale. Exhale, back over to the right. Now you can carry on with that movement, or if you want to draw circles with your nose and then do complete rotations of the head, then feel free to do that. So you inhale as the head comes up. Exhale as the chin falls down. Inhaling up. exhale down. And then just begin to move in this gentle way. Either going back to where you were. Obviously, if you want to pause at any moment, then that's perfectly reasonable as well, right? You don't have to kind of do exactly what I'm doing. And what I invite you to do is to be safe, never to push it, and to be curious, and ultimately be compassionate, right? So we think about our mental health. And at the root of it is being compassionate to yourself and accepting yourself. Not having that kind of inner critic, even though you can never really banish your inner critic, just to quieten your inner critic. Come back to center and then just swap it out. Come back the other way. Inhale as the head comes up, exhale as the chin falls down. Why don't we just do a couple more together? And then inhale, bring your head all the way back to center. Take a full exhale. And then if your eyes are closed, just come with your eyes open. Beautiful, really nice. That same movement, or maybe something a little bit different. You can bring the legs out and give them a little massage. Maybe give them a little tap out. Maybe drop the knees to either side. Whatever feels good for you. Really beautiful work. We're going to stay here. It's going to be a world record of seating today. So let's just have a little think. What are we going to do next? If you're sat in a chair, probably time to join us on the floor, if that feels okay. I mean, you can still do this on a chair. If you're sat on something like a blanket or a cushion like I was, maybe just move it off to one side. And then just make sure you're super comfortable. So we're going to do a little bit of movement through the hips and the torso. So again, you might be familiar with this. It's called Sufi grind. The hands are on the knees. You're going to inhale your chest forward. You're going to exhale around your spine. So that's the movement. You pick a direction. It doesn't matter. Now, if you feel quite a lot of tension in your lumbar spine, you may want to be here and be sat up nice and tall. And you're just doing tiny little circles. And you're sending the breath deep down into your lumbar spine. Now, if you've got a little bit more room, you can make the circles a little bit bigger and you can bend a little bit deeper into the elbows. Inhale forward, exhale round. Nice. And then inhale, come back to center. And then come back the other way. Nice work. And try and stay really relaxed as you move. So the breath is always key, right? The breath will always guide you. And we're looking for a reasonable effort in our yoga practice, not too much, not too little. But saying anything, if you want to make it little and not much, that's a lot better than making it big and too much. I think that's a good way to describe it. So don't strain. You want your yoga practice to be something that you come back to time and time again. And what we're doing today, it's a 45-minute class, but you can do a lot of this stuff in 15 minutes, right? And maybe pick, if you're looking for a morning practice, you're looking for something to kind of kickstart your day, then it's such a powerful routine. And maybe just pick 10 minutes. So you can pick 3 minutes of breath. If you want any guidance on breath, then just message me on Facebook. And then pick 2 or 3 postures that really work for you. And then you get on with your day, right? But your practice is just going to give you that time just for you. Space, right? Mind space week. You give yourself space physically and emotionally. It's really important. It will guide you. When I don't practice yoga, I am off. And I'm like, oh, I remember I need to get back on time, mat. Take an inhale, come back to center. Take a full exhale through your mouth. Then one more like that. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Really beautiful. All right, nice. Make yourself a little bit of room. So if you've got anything by your side, just move it, or on your mat, move it off, and then just flip your legs over to one side. And I agree, yeah, we've been there a long time, right? So spread out for your fingers. Now, if you want to place a blanket under your knees, I'll demonstrate. I mean, I probably don't need to demonstrate. Don't need to show you how to place a blanket under your knees. But if you want to pad your knees out, go for it. By the way, these blankets, they're Mexican blankets. You can buy them from everyone's favorite everyone's favorite online retailer, and they're really good. You can use them for so many different things. They really aid your yoga practice. I think they're called Mexican Falsa blankets. They're about £35 or something. Very durable, wool, beautiful. All right. When you're ready from here, take an inhale, drop your belly down, lift your head, lift your heart. Spine is long, head is lifted. As you exhale, tuck your chin towards your spine. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Really press into the arms, separate your shoulders. 4 more like that. Inhale. This is your cow. Exhale. This is your cat. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Final one. Inhale. And then exhale. And then split the knees a little wider if you can. Have a look down in between your legs. See if you can bring your big toes together. And then with the help of the arms, lay the arms forward and then come into a child's pose. Now, if you want to stack your head on your hands, then feel free to do that. And then just breathe it out. And just breathe here. You can see I've got my head turned over to the right. You can just have your forehead straight down. You maybe want to swap your head out, but we've done, a reasonable amount of work through the neck. So hopefully your head feels okay. No strain here. We can do this as well. If you've got a pillow or something close by, you can do that and place it in between your sit bones and your heels, especially if your sit bones don't come down onto your heels. So that provides a really lovely bit of comfort and cushioning. But this is a really beautiful, gentle stretches for your spine. Child's pose is a pose that I keep coming back to, one that I need. And then take one more complete round of breath. And then when you're ready, really slowly press yourself back to all fours. Nice. And then just place your cushion off to one side. And then I invite you just to give your legs a good stretch out. So keep one knee down and then lengthen through one leg. This will give you a really beautiful stretch through your feet, maybe through your calves. If you're tight in the legs, I'm always tight in my legs. This is a really nice way to move. Nice. If you feel like you've got enough stability here, maybe place the left hand in the center of your mat. You can always bring the right hand onto your right hip and roll that right shoulder back, or maybe lift the right arm up. You can look up or you can look down. Nice. And then close it in and then just swap it out. So whatever feels good for you, maybe start with the left hand on the hip and open the chest out, or maybe lift out through the left arm, look up, look down, whatever works for you. and then exhale, just close it in. So we're going to come back to all fours, hopefully with ample support underneath your knees. And then what I'll ask you to do is just funk it out a little bit. So not too funky, obviously. I'm a 50-year-old man. But what you're going to do is just kind of, 50-year-old men can be funky, right? All right, so I'm going to ask you to kind of draw circles and bend into the elbows a little bit. So you kind of draw circles, and then you bring the sit bones back towards the heels. And they can be small, they can be big, it can be fast or slow. What do you want to do? Kind of just bring this movement into the hips and the spine, and then maybe swap it out. Simple movements, and they might be really small like this. That's all good, right? Maybe bend the elbows, bring the forehead down. Nice. Beautiful. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Nice. And then tuck your toes under, and then bring your feet back around. Doesn't matter how you do that. And then I invite you to come and lie down on your backs. Now, if you've got a blanket there, you can keep it. What we're going to do with this beautiful blue pillow, I'm going to place it off to the side, and then maybe just lie all the way down. You can have the feet planted. You might be there already. And then hug your knees in towards your belly, and then have a really beautiful intuitive rock around. So the knees can remain together. You can separate the knees. You can draw circles. You can just push the knees away. Maybe you're finding relative stillness. I'll leave it up to you. Nice. And then place the soles of the feet down on your mat. And your feet are about hip width apart. And then think about lining your feet up with the long edges of your mat. If you don't have a mat, then that's okay. Just line them up so your ankles and your toes are in line. Press your palms down into the floor. Take an inhale, just raise your hips off the floor. Now, again, you don't have to come up high here. You're not really lifting onto your shoulders. You're just lifting the lower spine, your hips, your bottom off the floor. As you exhale, roll all the way back down. Stay engaged with all four corners of the feet. So the breath is coming into play here. So you inhale up and you exhale down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. 3 more like that. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. 1 more like that. Inhale up and exhale down. Beautiful. And then walk your feet wide and then let your knees touch. And maybe a lovely opportunity to bring your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart. Your knees are touching, your feet are wide. This is constructive rest. Feel the lower spine relax, and then take some really deep, delicious breaths into your belly, into your heart space. And maybe noticing the effects of your practice. Maybe noticing how the body feels a little more open, how the mind feels a little calmer, calming the fluctuations of the mind. Don't worry, I'm going to whip my top off in a minute and we're going to walk around on my hands. This is what this class has all been about. So I can walk around and show you my handstands. I can't do handstands, so I'll have to skip it today in practice. All right, when you're ready, release your hands and then bring them back down. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just move up a little bit on that bridge. Sorry if I shocked you there. And if there was no context to that and you weren't here at the start of the class, you'll have to rewind it. Touch down on your ankles with your fingertips. And then this time what we're going to do, you're going to inhale up, lift the hips, and then lift the arms at the same time. So you really stretch everything out. Your fingertips might just graze the floor. As you exhale, keep the hips lifted. And then as the hands come down and they get in line with the hips, then bring everything down onto the mat. So you're trying to sync that move together. So inhale up, stretch the arms above the head, lift the hips, heart
really begins to open. As you exhale, hands come down in line with the hips, everything lowers. Nice. 3 more like that. Inhale up, expand it out. Exhale, arms come down, reach the hips, hips lower. 2 more. Inhale up. Big deep breaths. Exhale down. 1 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come down, reach the hips, lower everything down. Nice. And then this time, feet together, soles of the feet touch, knees fall open. Your choice what you do with the hands. They can again be on the heart, they can be on the belly, they can be anywhere you want. But think about how you feel here. Not too much, but just kind of bring your intuition into your practice. So big, deep inner stretch of the hips. If you're lucky enough to have, blocks and you use props and your yoga practice well, you can place the props underneath your thighs and that will take a little bit of tension out of your legs if you really feel it. I encourage people to use props in their practice. It's not a cheat, it's an aid to your practice, a really lovely guide of where you are. And then when you're ready, just slowly coming out, bring your hands onto your outer thighs, which is going to encourage your knees together. Hug your knees in towards your belly. Nice. And then just have another little intuitive rock about. Nice. Beautiful. Roll over to one side, and then you're in this fetal position. Maybe use the right hand or the left, depending on which way you rolled. So use the bottom hand as the pillow. And sometimes we come into this pose and then the yoga teacher will be like, okay, now come and sit. And we think, oh, I wanted to stay longer. So let's just stay a little bit longer. Let the body just catch up. And then when you're ready, use the top hand, whichever one it is, just to press into and then unravel and come all the way back up. And then we're going to come back to a seated position just to finish this class off. So I'm going to use my handy little throne here. Love a throne. It's the only time I give myself permission to sit on a throne. All right, everyone. So not a huge amount of moving, but hopefully really beneficial. Always beneficial, right, yoga? Come back to that seated position. Spine is long. Let's just do something a little bit different with the breath to finish off. So inhale through your nose. Exhale, bring your teeth together, and then make a sh sound through your teeth. Shh. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your teeth. Imagine all your stress leaving your body. One more. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your teeth. Beautiful. Really nice. And then bring your hands together at heart center. Press your thumbs into your sternum. Notice the effects of your practice one final time. And you might want to join me with this. I'll say a little prayer at the end. So not always, but today I will. So you can repeat after me if you want. I'll give you a little gap. Universe, put us in the places you want us to be, with the people you want us to be with.
doing the things you want us to do. Thank you for the joys and the challenges of our lives. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. It's been really lovely to teach from this amazing space. And I hope you take some of that practice away with you. As I say, all of the comments on Facebook, I read them all. So if you want to put any comments in there, you want to ask me any questions, feel free. And if you're ever in Leicester and you want to do some amazing yoga with an incredible group of teachers, then Space to Breathe collective.co.uk, not-for-profit, cooperative. And there's lots of other stuff that goes on there beyond the physical yoga. So yeah, that's it really. Enjoy whatever you're doing over the next few days. Remember, life is full of challenges, right? And it's how we face those challenges, which is probably the most important thing. That doesn't mean that you can't freak out and things get really tough, because that's very natural as well. But no, keep connecting with yourself, connecting with the people around you. That's always a lesson and something that I'm always trying to remind myself. And for now, I'll see you next week. All right. Love you all. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.